Hello, and here we are back at 2019 Anarchapulco, and we are with Peter Vermeister.
Patrick,
oh my goodness, Patrick, I'm so sorry. I just met Patrick in the lobby, and I corralled him because I thought I knew him. Apparently I didn't. But anyway, I'm glad because he is a find, and he's a font of wisdom. Weiss Associates is his company, and we were just talking about the loss of sovereignty and how the U.S. turned us into basically indentured servants.
yeah, I mean, as you know, Congress is full of lawyers, and we are defined in law by the speech, by the language, and they're very adept at wordsmithing.
Yes.
And there are a lot of words that have dual meanings. There's the conversation that we have, but when we talk about the United States, we don't define what that is. Well, in conversation, we know that the United States is a land of the free and the home of the brave. But
right.
in Congress's definitions, when they talk about the United States, there are two different definitions of it, and the ones that they have exclusive jurisdiction over is the statutory United States, and that is the District of Columbia, and that also includes all the territories that are not states. So Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Guam, American Samoa. There's like 11 of them, I think, or 13, somewhere like that, territories. And the people that are born on these territories are U.S. citizens, but they're a type of U.S. citizen. They're not sovereigns.
Okay.
So they are under the dominion of Congress. So they're like subjects to a monarchy, but instead of one singular person, it's Congress that they are subjects to. So they do not have freedom of speech in Puerto Rico. They do hold U.S. passports, but they can be taken away. You don't have due process. You don't have a right to privacy.
Is this common knowledge in these areas? News to me.
We've spoken with Puerto Ricans, and the ones that we've spoken to, they know that they are U.S. citizens, but they're a type of it.
Okay. So how do you define sovereign in this context?
Sovereignty is essentially self-determination, and you own yourself. I think that's one of the manifestos here at this great conference, is that you own yourself 100%.
Yes.
That's what a sovereign is, and of course in ancient times, the queen or king was a sovereign. If you ever get the gold coins, it's called a sovereign. It's got the queen on it. Those are the sovereigns, and everyone else are subjects. So, but in the United States, every American-born person or someone born in the 50 states, they are sovereigns. It's something that is very unique. It only, as far as I know, this is the only land, or we're in Mexico, but the United States, the Constitutional Republic, is the only land where the people are the sovereigns. And it's been backed up by the Supreme Court, Yikvo versus Hopkins.
So why then are we forced to pay an illegal income tax?
Well, it's not illegal.
Okay.
That's
you were telling me before how it evolved with Taft.
That's right. That's right. So, all right. So we have to form the bases that there are two United States. There's the Constitutional Republic,
yes,
where the sovereigns are, and then there's the statutory United States, where the subjects are in Puerto Rico and District of Columbia, and etc. So,
yes,
in 1895, the Income Tax Act of 1895, or I guess it was attempted in 1894, was struck down by the Supreme Court because you could not have a direct tax, and an income tax is a direct tax, and a direct tax has to be apportioned among the states. So the bill essentially would, as an example, Rhode Island's bill would be different from California's bill. They would be apportioned based on population. That's how it had to. But it was also, a direct tax is a one-time tax. So just say they wanted to build a road, you could do a direct tax to build the road, but once the road is built and paid for, there's no more tax. It's not an annualized, ongoing thing.
Of some sort.
Yes, exactly. And then when it's done, it's done. There's no renewal, there's no annual renewal or anything. So that's what a direct tax is. And in 1895, they ruled, of course, that an income tax is a direct tax, and it must be apportioned.
Okay.
So, since they tried to do an income tax, of course, is the 16th Amendment is unapportioned. If you look at the exact, the Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes on incomes without apportionment among the states. So there's your first clue that the 16th Amendment is directed toward the statutory United States and not the constitutional republic, because the Supreme Court has already said that you can't apply a direct tax within the states unless it's apportioned.
So then we, as sovereigns, are being illegally taxed.
It's not illegal.
Okay,
All right,
you've
volunteered to.
We volunteered. How do we unvolunteer?
Unfortunately, I mean, there's a lot of arguments, of course, because you've entered into a contract, and if you enter into a contract, that you have to be of legal age, and you have to, and most importantly, you have to be made aware of all the stipulations in the contract. Mm-hmm. So you have to knowingly and with full intent enter into a contract. It's a fraudulent contract to enter, but nevertheless you entered into it.
And is this through our birth certificates? Is that how we entered into the contract?
No, you entered into the contract. If we're talking about the income tax,
yes,
you enter into the contract by submitting your first 1040.
Okay.
So think back of when you did that when you were 18 years old or 21
yes,
or whatever. You did it because you thought that's what you had to do. All right, did you check with a lawyer?
No. They stuck a form in front of your face and said sign it.
So we call it you've joined the U.S. tax club because it behaves more like a country club.
Yes.
So once you join a country club, whether you use their facilities or not, okay, you have to pay $10,000 a year, whatever the number, and it's annual. The renewal is annualized. So at the beginning of the new year, you have to pay again.
Okay.
But you can quit the country club.
How do we quit the country club?
The million-dollar question. Well, it's buried in the income tax code, but it is there.
Okay.
And the principal of our firm has spent 25 years looking for it. He knew it was there somewhere, but it's buried. And you know how all this stuff is with law. You can stick little riders into laws. I mean, like this thing dealing with where the IRS can essentially now take your passport away if you owe more than $50,000. They can instruct the State Department to revoke, not renew your passport. Okay, the law of that was stuck into a transportation bill. It's called the FAST Act. It was I forget what the FAST is an acronym. I forget now is surface transportation. Fixing America's surface transportation, I think, is what it stands for.
Nice.
Now, why would a something involving income tax and passport be in a transportation bill?
Exactly.
And of course, like Obamacare has a lot of money written in it about busing, and what does that got to do with it? So they hide all these things, of course, and they trumpet, we need to get it passed, and look at what we're doing, and then how do the American people know the full context of all this stuff? And,
even accountants haven't read the tax code.
And it's negotiated. Oh, there's, 100,000 pages? It's insane.
Right. All right, so
we're gonna... Now, there's another clue of their obfuscation. They give you 100,000 pages worth of stuff, and is there one person that knows the entirety of the...
There?
I don't think so. It's so full of legalese and loopholes, and then, there's so much interpretation.
Has Adele written... Has he read the whole thing?
No, I don't.
It's not possible.
I don't think it's possible, and then it's 10 times worse than War and Peace. I mean, it's written it's written in this legalese.
Yes.
Whereas in here too, and it's written that way on purpose to turn the regular people off from reading it. They don't want you to read it.
Absolutely. All right. Well,
it's very simple when you get down to it, but
what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk to Adele later and see if we can possibly get down a little deeper into what that magic solution he found, the tax getting out of the tax country club.
Well, I can give you the short version, and then he can expound on it later. The short version is they're within the tax code, and it's in section 6013, and it's buried in a section that refers to filing jointly or something, and people will argue, well, look at this section header, but the out clause is in an implementing regulation, which is an actual law that creates obligations, and it points to a specific sentence, and it says that taxpayers can revoke their election.
Okay, so
All right.
we don't even know what election refers to in this
Well, you have to.
context.
Well, they never define what
No.
all this stuff is. So, based on all of his research, the election is submitting your first 1040.
Our
That's
election to submit the 1040.
that's how you
Okay.
join the country club. That
Okay, so how do we revoke?
well, you essentially you submit documentation and we provide that for you.
Oh, man, that sounds awesome.
And we have over 4,000 clients.
And do you get results? I mean, do you get anyone?
This
is
is
anyone arrested?
no. Well, I mean,
Beautiful.
I think we would know. We would have heard by now.
You would have heard. You would have definitely heard.
Zero,
You would have
so-
gotten some complaints, but yeah,
But-
excellent.
There's nothing to guarantee because it's a provision provided by Congress. So you, as the sovereign, you instruct your public servant people. I am not part of this club. So
Right. Got it.
so the process is submitting, or not submit. Of course, that's putting yourself underneath. That's the
Yes.
wrong word. Complete your process, revocation of election process, and make sure that you have proof of delivery, because then they might, well, we never got it. Kind of games that they can play.
No,
So
that's-
you need proof of, and then the proof of delivery is the completed process. So
Can this be applied to past due amounts?
no.
Dang.
No, unfortunately, if you've been a part of the country club and you played golf and swam in their pool,
Darn it.
you
I don't
cannot.
like their pool.
Well, they're.
I don't like their pools of war.
That's right. It tastes very bad.
Yes. All right.
But unfortunately, you used the pool, or you thought that was a good thing at the time. And of course, there's another stipulation that whatever you pay the federal government is a gift or bequest.
Oh, please.
So what is that? Does that say that it's an obligation? It's a.
No.
So you
absolutely
gave
not.
to the United Way, and you can't go back to the United Way and going, you know what, I don't like your organization. I want my money back. Well, it doesn't work that way.
All right. Well, Patrick, I
So
think
some people have gotten in trouble.
Oh, they have.
No, not our clients. Like there are other people
Winston Stroud most recently.
Eddie Kane.
Okay, not familiar
And
with
some of these people, I mean, they're very knowledgeable, but when they miss the point is, and they get in trouble, is when they try to collect on back taxes based on fraud, and so we want to save our own necks, and we want to not get any clients in trouble.
Right.
So we try to tell people just drop that part of it.
Got it.
The refund part of it. I mean, if you want to go to court or whatever, we want to keep people out of the courtroom. Okay,
Let's
just
play it safe and
bid a
kiss it
due
goodbye.
to whatever you paid before, and now
Okay.
you're taking this new path.
Well, I wish I'd found you about 20, 30, 40 years ago. I'm not that old.
Myself
Yourself
included. Yeah, I was,
right.
you donate, so you donated to the cause.
All right, guys, you heard it here. We know where to go now. We're going to go to Weiss and Associates and learn more, and hopefully we'll get an interview with Adele Weiss up also. All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Okay.